Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, another paid request, this time from Marv. Thank you so much for that, and for those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And Marv, the interesting request, top 10 action buddies that should have happened, but the catch is they both have to be action stars. So, for example, you had Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell in Tango and Cash. So it can't be, this person and Richard Pryor or Chris Farley or Eddie Murphy. I mean, in a way, Eddie Murphy's an action star, but we think of him more. I'll put him more as a comedian and take him out of it. So, which two action stars would you wish could have had a pairing together? And he asked for 10 of them. Now, number one, I know may be a cheat because technically they did do a film together, but to me that was such a dog shit film, it doesn't count. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone in Contra, based on the video game. This should have happened. I think if you ask any person who's a fan of action movies, they would go, yes. You have a big budget concept, Stallone and Arnold in a film like Aliens with that type of intensity and action, but then also the action of Predator, kicking ass, taking names, simple plot, high octane action, sci-fi, R-rated. It should have happened. I wish it would have happened. And again, when I saw this topic, I had to put that in there because that's number one above everybody else by miles. Arnold and Stallone together in Contra. As one of those you say, you look at the cover of Contra the video game and you go, it's right there. It's right there. Sadly, that never happened. So that's number one. Number two, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal. Yes, I know it would never have happened. There were moments that seemed like they would get together, but neither one wanted to be the bad guy. They hated each other. Even nowadays, I think Van Damme, he said, oh, whatever, Seagal is what it is, but Seagal still hates Van Damme, just like Seagal hates pretty much everybody. But you can't tell me that if Van Damme and Seagal were in a film, you would watch that movie. I'd watch that movie. Whether it be a train wreck or the fascination of, these two guys don't like each other, so that could, how these, a lot of times they have friction, these action buddy cop movies or whatever said there's friction between, that's real. And they could give real insults to each other. And it's even funnier because they're being honest. Let's be honest, Van Damme and Steven Seagal, I don't know what kind of movie it would be. But again, this is action buddy, so it'd be them on the same side. But I would say like their heyday. I would say if it was the year 1994, Steven Seagal does Under Siege in 92, Van Damme does Hard Target in 93. Instead of Seagal going in to try to do On Deadly Ground and that type of stuff, instead of Van Damme doing films like Street Fighter, he could still do Time Cop, but instead of Street Fighter, have them work together on the same team in a movie. I think that would have been a big box office success. You could say could have been the biggest hit of their career at that point, to see these two guys, rising up and coming action stars, working together. Whether they have chemistry with each other, I mean, I think it'd just be more funny if they're a buddy action team that really do hate each other, but they begrudgingly work with each other. So Van Damme Seagal I had to put on there. In their heyday in like 1994. So that's number 2. Number 3, I put Sylvester Stallone and Jackie Chan. That's a team up I always wanted to see for the longest time. Ever since hearing that, you see Tango and Cash, and the beginning is an ode to Police Story, with Stallone shooting at the truck. There's a Jackie Chan's Police Story. Jackie Chan is aiming, and he does this, and then they go through the windshield, while Stallone and Tango and Cash is shooting, and he does one final bit. They stop and they go through. But it's a cop in front of a truck coming towards them with a gun. Ends with the bad guys going through the windshield. Absolutely an ode to Police Story, the beginning of Tango and Cash. And there'd be references to Jackie Chan in films like Demolition Man. In fact, there was at one point talked of Jackie Chan being the villain in Demolition Man, but Jackie Chan did not want to play a villain. I know for a while they wanted Jackie Chan in the Expendables movie, and Jackie would keep saying, I don't want to be part of an ensemble. I want to do a film with Stallone. That's what he would say. I want to do a film with Stallone. And it was close that Stallone and Jackie would do that film Ex-Bad-Dad. I forget what the other name of it was. But then, okay, for what I understand, look into it. Because I'm sitting there going, why the fuck did Stallone leave and this and that? I think it had something to do with some contract thing, and he had to do maybe Creed 2 or something? I forget. I don't know if it was a contract or he just went off to do Creed 2 or like one of those movies. So Stallone was no longer part of the project, and you had John Cena. Now, granted, I've seen the trailer to that film because it seemed like it was never going to be released, and then it finally did get released. Never seen the film, never got requested the film, but I've seen the trailer, and it looks pretty awful. Plus, I don't like John Cena. So the fact that you substitute Sylvester Stallone for John Cena... Fuck, man. And I think it's too late now, because they're both in their, like, 70s or so. So now, it'll never happen. But that would have been great to see. And like the early 2000s. Stallone, his films are more going straight to video. He's doing films like Avenging Angelo, or a theatrical film would be a film like Spy Kids 3. I didn't do that on purpose. Literally, my body literally tried to puke as I said Spy Kids 3D because I hate that fucking film. I still keep saying that's maybe the worst Stallone film I've seen. I fucking hate that movie. It's just so obnoxiously irritating, that movie, and ugly to look at with all the CG. This is all VR world CG, and it tried to do the 3D, and I'm like, this is ghastly looking. I don't give a shit about Spy Kids 1 or 2, so fuck the kids, and fuck them kids. Don't give a fuck about them, but anyway. And Stallone, who the fuck... Yeah, that's not Sylvester Stallone, is his twin, Stallone. Trying to be all sly and shit, but failing. Just being embarrassing. More embarrassing than Rhinestone or anything like that. But yeah, that time, and this after Jackie Chan did Rush Hour, and even Rush Hour 2, 2001 or so. So like 2002, 2003, like those guys there would have been cool to see. Stallone and Jackie Chan. So that's number 3. But sadly, that will never come about. Number 4, I put Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee. They fought against each other, a duel to the death, in Return of the Dragon. Chuck Norris, my favorite Chuck Norris film is Firewalker, which is a buddy movie. I thought, a lot of people shit on Chuck for that movie. They shit on his performance. I liked him in that movie. I think he gives, as limited of an actor Chuck Norris is, I still think he's pretty damn good. Just thought that was pretty damn good in Missing in Action 2, and a lot of his movies I like. Well, and yeah, his acting attempts to be stone-faced, Like Delta Force 2 is a perfect example of that, where I'm like, but it works for a lot of those type of roles. For that action hero, it works to have that kind of badass presence. But oh, yeah, that is the train. I was wondering what the fuck that was. Just a train going down to Georgia. But it's one of those things where he had a personable, funny, humorous performance in Firewalker. He's able to smile and have fun, and it's one of the reasons why I like that film so much. And it'd be cool to see him work with Bruce Lee, and since they're on the same side, what they could do with each other, and banter wise, dialogue wise, as well as a scene with both of them back to back kicking ass, double dragon style. Who the fuck would not want to see that? Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee back to back working with each other. They were rivals and now they're on the same side. There you go, there's a double dragon movie for you. So, Chuck Norris and Bruce Lee I had to put in there. That would have been great to see. So that's my number 4. Number 5, I put Kurt Russell and Bruce Willis. I think because both had action credentials, but they could also play that witty, fun, wisecracking element. When you see Kurt Russell in Tango and Cash, and even as Jack Bird in Big Trouble in Little China, and Bruce Willis in his heyday, like The Last Boy Scout. We see that Kurt Russell can work well with an action star like Sylvester Stallone in Tango and Cash. It would have been just cool to see what Kurt Russell and Bruce Willis would have. I think Bruce Willis is usually difficult on set, but I think he would work well with Kurt, because Kurt is a no shit kind of guy, and he seems like a very easygoing guy, but he's a guy who's been in the business since he was a kid, so he knows a thing or two about that stuff. And just, they're two actors I do enjoy, but it's just nice to see them work well together. Because I think both can do the humor and the action well on equal fronts. So, just a pair that stuck out for me. So that's number 5. Or wait. Yeah, number 5. Number 6, I put Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee. Now, of course, Jackie Chan is one of the people that get killed if you blink and you miss it and Enter the Dragon. But Jackie Chan, when he got popular in his heyday, to work with Bruce Lee and maybe have like a playful one-on-one fight, much better than what the fuck they tried to do in the Forbidden Kingdom with Jet Li versus Jackie Chan. But like in a modern style, you have Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, Jackie Chan's more comedic, using objects, be different styles, different ways of fighting. I just think that would be a great showcase of two talented people. And of course, what happens when you beat the shit out of each other? You go have a drink, and then you become friends, and then they become a buddy team together. And you'd have Bruce Lee's intensity and high impact mixed in with Jackie Chan's more agile, fluid comedy element. So you have two different styles of martial arts and fighting. And it'd be cool to see those guys back and forth in their, Jackie Chan's prime. Bruce Lee, of course, would be a bit older, but maybe a bit, he'd be a bit wiser as well. And it'd just be nice to see those two work well. They would work well together, I think. So that would have been nice to see. So it's number 6. Or, wait. I already lost track. No, Arnold and Sly 1, Van Damme and Seagal 2, Sly and Jackie Chan 3, Chuck and Bruce Lee 4, Kurt and Bruce Willis 5, Jackie and Bruce 6. Okay, yeah, so number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay. I don't know why. Okay, number 7. Number 7 is a bit of a weird one, I know. But I put Dolph Lundgren and Jeff Speakman. I think because ever since I remember it was on, I want to say, the overseas Blu-ray of Men of War, which I do have, and there's a little bit of a feature interview with I guess a guy that studied the production of the movie. And he says something about at one point Men of War was going to be a buddy film with Dolph Lundgren and Jeff Speakman. Now, the way the guy tells the story is that Dolph didn't want that to happen. That's the way the guy tells the story. That Dolph didn't want that to happen because he didn't want to do another buddy film. Maybe he felt Jeff Speakman. Maybe he felt like, who's this guy? Is he on the same league as I am? I don't know. There's just the hearsay what the person was saying. If that's the case, I'm like, that's kind of shitty. I love Dolph, but if that's the case, it's pretty shitty. But maybe it was something else. Maybe it was his agents. Maybe it was other people involved. Because Jeff Speedman at that time was not a big star at all. In fact, you could argue he was never a big star, Sally. Because even The Perfect Weapon, which I love, did okay at the box office, but it made, I don't know, 10 million at most, or 12. It wasn't like this big box office bonanza. And then the rest of his films pretty much went, for the most part, straight to video. I know Jeff Speakman. Most people don't. But just for me, because I've seen how well Dolph works with other action stars. Either against, like Sylvester Stallone in Rocky IV, Jean-Claude Van Damme in Universal Soldier, or with, just like Brandon Lee in Show No Tokyo. Dolph seems like he's a good fit for worked with other guys. That's why I think it would be nice to have seen Dolph and Jeff Speakman. Plus, again, they have two different styles of fighting. So you have Dolph, the more high-impact punches and kicks and karate, while Jeff Speakman is more of the tempo. It just like Dolph and Brandon Lee, Dolph and Jeff Speakman have two different styles. So you could showcase a variety of action. And I think Dolph and Jeff could work well together, banter-wise. I do think Jeff Speakman's actually a pretty decent actor. And I had to throw Jeff Speakman in there somewhere, and I'm like, I didn't really know who else I would team him with, so I just picked that one. Because then Dolph has a good history of doing that. And he did great job with Brandon Lee and Show No Low Tokyo, so. So, number 8. I just threw this in there for fun. Sylvester Stallone and Bruce Lee. Just because I'm a big Stallone fan. Bruce Lee is the man. I would have been insanely curious as to how that would have looked on the screen. That's really the only reason I put it on there, because I love Stallone, and Bruce Lee's a legend. I would just be curious to see how they would look on the screen together. Rambo and Bruce Lee. So I just had to put it in there. There's really no other reason other than that. Number 9, I put Brandon Lee and Kurt Russell. I had to put Brandon Lee in there somewhere. And I really didn't know who to team him up with. So I thought Brandon Lee, Kurt Russell seems like a great fit. Oh, because again, I think of Kurt Russell and Tango and Cash and how much of a fun personality he has in that movie, and then you see Brandon Lee, how much of a fun personality he has in Shonen no Little Tokyo. So you have two guys that could be these very fun, loving guys that are open to being goofy, but can also do well in the action. And of course, you have one doing martial arts. You have one who's a much more straightforward. Hell, that would have been an interesting Big Trouble in Little China sequel. Jack Burton, the Pork Chop Express, he's somewhere else. He's in Little Tokyo, there you go. It'd be a crossover between Big Trouble Little China and Shonen Little Tokyo. And Brandon Lee's Taylor's on vacation, and he has a team up with Kurt Russell's Jack Burton, and then they're both thrown in Big Trouble in Little Tokyo. There you go. There's a sequel there. Big Trouble Little Tokyo. I would see that movie. Jack Burton, the Pork Chop Express. There's a different supernatural shenanigan. He's like, here we go again. Or, I mean, it could be a completely different project. I'm just having fun. But, again, they just seem like very fun personalities. And I had to put Brandon Lee in there because I miss Brandon Lee. He's greatly missed. And it just seemed like he would work well with Kurt Russell's personality. And they'd be a good fit with each other. And they both have good experience. Brandon with Shonen no Tokyo, Dolph Lundgren. Kurt with Stallone and Tango and Cash. So you know they can do action buddy movies very well. So it's Brandon and Kurt. Two great badass guys. Brandon fucking Lee and Kurt fucking Russell. So I had to put them two together. And I mean, there's a lot of choices you could put in there. I'm sitting there going, God, who would I fit in there? I mean, there's just the sky's the limit on that stuff. But if I had to pick and see, I'm looking at this here, I'm wondering if this is the last one I would have picked, because I'm like, I keep thinking maybe there's one I'm missing. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. That would work. But I would say I know they don't sound weird, but Jean-Claude Van Damme and Wesley Snipes. Maybe because I remember hearing the one film at one point, I think it was called Sandblast, and Wesley Snipes was going to be the hero, and maybe Van Damme was going to be the bad guy. And then there was another time when, what was that movie? Sheldon Lettish directed it, The Hardcore. It was actually going to be Van Damme. He did star in it, but the other guy, the boxer, was going to be Wesley Snipes. But the production thought it was too much money. Some to the fact of, well, they both have the same market. So, I mean, are we going to pay double the price of a budget when more than likely the same amount of people are going to see it? I'm sitting there going, well, would the same people? I'm like, but those are two different personalities. People who see Van Damme might not necessarily go see a Wesley Snipes film, and those who are into Wesley Snipes might not necessarily go see Van Damme. So, but that was their thought process. It'd be too much, but I'm sure there are better choices out there. But I needed to put Wesley Snipes in there somewhere. I'm like, who would I team him up with? Not Steven Seagal. At one point, Wesley Snipes and Jackie Chan, there was ideas of them being a film as like half brothers. I forget what the hell the name of the film was. But I just put Jean-Claude Van Damme because, you know, that'd be a, you know, as much as I like Double Team, I know. You're asking why. This is such a batshit insane movie. I kind of like it for how batshit weird it is. It has flaws, don't get me wrong. But imagine if Double Team had Wesley Snipes instead of Dennis Rodman. I think that's what I look at. It would still have flaws, but again, imagine if instead of imagine if Wesley Snipes played his character Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man, but he was a good guy. That could be Wesley in Double Team. Because like Simon Phoenix, he'd had the different colored hair, and he'd be this exuberant personality, and yoo-hoo, you know. It'd be if Simon Phoenix was a good guy, put that character, that personality, that exuberance with Van Damme, if he wasn't coked out of his mind. That's a, again. If I had the what's that Marvel character, the Watcher, had his powers and do all these what ifs, Marvel style. Van Damme, no cocaine for you. Wesley, boom. Work out some of the iffy special effects. I think that would have been even cool, pretty cool to see. But yeah, also because I like Van Damme and I like Wesley Snipes, and sure, throw those two in there. Plus, I wanted to put another Van Damme in there because I love Van Damme, and I didn't know who else. I mean, I was thinking maybe Sly and Van Damme because those are two of my favorite action stars. But I guess I just want to do something a little bit different. So there you go. But what are your choices? Feel free to put them down below, or if you want to make a video, be my guest, or anything of the sort. So, be my guest. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.